Hello, procrastinators! Well, stop the clock, Stadia's dead. Oh, you didn't even bother to start the clock. Fair enough. This week, Google announced the closure of all of its Stadia game studios in a press release that says partners 5 times and players/gamers only once each. Going forward, Stadia will have no more first-party exclusives. When I say going forward, they don't have any now. From now on, Stadia will just act as the bizarrely expensive, lower-quality, fragile way to buy third-party AAA titles that it has been since the start. Unless, of course, they start to ship money into buying third-party exclusives, which they won't. It'll have nothing of value for anybody with a PC, console, handheld, or whatever the fuck the N-Gage was. Actually, what does the Stadia have as exclusives right now? What games are there already to tempt you into buying games on a service that will at some point cease to exist, rendering all your purchases null and void? Well, there's Crater, which I'd not heard of either. Think Little Big Planet by the way of Fortnite with a Metacritic in the 70s. And a PC release very soon. There's Outcasters, which is Brawl Stars mixed with those Saints Row 3 bowlheads that drove me mad. Metacritic in the 70s. Orcs Must Die 3, which is more of that sort of thing. Metacritic in the 70s. Wave Break, which is Tony Hawk's but boats. And that one doesn't even have enough reviews to get a fucking Metacritic score. But the three that are there are 70, 70, and 80, so Metacritic in the 70s. Get Packed, which has, oh my goodness, a Metacritic score of 81. But it's also the exact same game as Moving Out, which came out on everything else, and this is no word of a fucking lie, on the exact same fucking day. And also they've got Guilt, which was their kind of big launch day exclusive, which has a Metacritic in the 60s. Look, Stadia wasn't going to work. I knew it. You knew it. People who bought GameStop stock at $350 knew it. They didn't. They didn't. But why? Do you know why? It's because it's not a thing. There's nothing tangible to Stadia. Nothing for people to buy in shops. Nothing to point cameras at. It's just a service to buy games for the same price as a physical release that you don't then own. How the fuck are they going to sell that to the non-gamers they seem so desperately wanting to target? For the casual audience, Stadia needed its Wii Sports. For you lot watching this, it needed something that could only work in the power of the cloud. You know, like Crackdown 3. Stadia isn't going to get massive. It's not going to explode in popularity, and it's not even the cheaper option. No, shut up. It's not. The free one makes you pay, and I'll say this again for the people at the back, full price for games you don't even own. They don't even go in your hard drive. And if you get the Pro option, £9 a month, then it'll cost you the same amount as a PS5 over just 3 years, which probably not even halfway through the lifespan of the PS5. Oh, and again, you don't actually own those fucking games. Nothing on your hard drive. When Stadia is finally put out of its misery behind Google's bike shed, it'll take every $60 copy of Red Dead Redemption 2 with it, and you'll have nobody to blame but yourself. And of course, Google. Actually, this has got me thinking, what is the cheapest way to play games these days? I mean, the Switch is pretty good if smaller games are your thing, but their exclusives hold value harder than gold these days. The current consoles are great for the AAA stuff, especially with their backwards compatibility, which can open up decades of cheap gaming options. But I'd personally go for a PC. A custom-built, low-range PC can get you access to a fucking smorgasbord of great indie titles. Cuphead, Stardew, Terraria, Spelunky, Isaac, Undertale, Prison Architect, Hollow Knight, Celeste, Obra Papers, Please, Hades, etc, etc, etc. And you can create spreadsheets and do hate crimes on Twitter on it. Also, I'm not against subscriptions. Game Pass, which I'm actually sure is still cheaper than Stadia's subscription, is insane value these days. There are options out there for cheap gaming. Stadia just isn't one of them. This isn't a rant series. This week, I booted up my PlayStation 5 once more to have another crack at God of War, which has just received its PlayStation 5 update patch. 4K? Ooh. 4K, 60 FPS, inject it into my fucking eyes. God, it looks incredible, making one of the best games of all time look even better and play even more fluidly. The only downside, and I say this is the only downside, is that I keep shouting, "Boy!" at my guinea pigs, and they don't care for it. They don't. Mass Effect Legendary Edition finally has a release date, May 14th. This collection smashes Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 and all the DLC together into a single collection of the best Star Trek game ever made. And even better, the multiplayer isn't included, meaning you won't have to grind in a mode I fucking hated to get the good ending. Hooray! And finally, Sonic has had a good week, even though it's been 4 years since the last proper Sonic game now, with no real hint of any more on the horizon. Anyway, this week Sonic Prime was announced, a TV series for a streaming service that you probably guessed when I said the title. Sonic Prime? Prime? That's right, it's coming to Netflix. In it, Sonic, with a new voice actor, will be all 3D and will have to save the multiverse. Multiverses. So hot right now. Additionally, Sonic is getting a proper Lego set from the, let's face it now, best current Lego range, Lego Ideas. While the final model hasn't been revealed yet, you can see the original that they've picked to make, and oh my goodness, it's Sonic Mania themed. In my line of work, we call this a day one purchase. Anyway, that's all from me. Next week's show will be a special one, mostly because I won't be around to record any actual news, with business returning to normal the week after. Also, did I mention the new Permadeath series that's starting really soon? And then the next week I'm going to be completing Fallout New Vegas live on Twitch. No? Well, now I have. Ta-ra. And finally, Sonic has had a good week, even though it's now been 4 years since the last Sonic game with no real hit. Sorry, I'm going to have the word proper in there because people will be like, ooh, what about the ones where he's in a car? Fuck you.